NU smokestacks, biological molecular lab smokestacks report, JCF Scientific Futures Incorporated report on hypocritical smoke, the scandal of medical waste incineration, the middle-class Foxborough subdivision in North Salt Lake City, Utah, is in many ways an idyllic community for young families, new, modest, and similarly sized homes on fairly compact lots, close by neighbors connected by sidewalks and streetlights, tons of playmates for all the kids, and the Mormon community have lots of kids, munchkins if you will. Foxborough has a Pollyanna feel to it, not unlike the Mormon Land of Oz. But a dark cloud hangs over Foxborough, sometimes literally. On a recent Friday evening in late summer, Foxborough was having a neighborhood 5K run walk for hundreds of families that lived in the area. Suddenly, it looked like a wicked witch of the West had arrived. Thick black smoke, flames billowed from a well-known industrial neighbor right next to a subdivision. Children became frightened. Some of them screamed that they couldn't breathe and ran into other people's house to get away from the smoke. Parents panicked. Chaos descended on the race. Participants, a local resident took this video near the end of this episode. Watching the video, one really expects to hear the Wicked Witch cackle, "I'll get you and your little dog too." Within the next half hour, I started getting emails from people from as far away as 40 miles complaining about the smoke and a distant chemical smell, different from the occasional wind wiping sulfur odor that sweeps in from the west where the Great Lakes lies. In about 20 minutes, the smoke was gone, but the chemical smell lingered much longer. The next day, I got more emails from people who were experiencing a variety of respiratory symptoms and wondered what they had been exposed to. The Wicked Witch of the West event was just the latest of many similar episodes involving Foxborough's non-fictional villain, Stericycle. The medical waste incinerator Stericycle North Salt Lake Incinerator, however, is emblematic of a much larger issue. Via the front door, hospital and clinics are purveyors of healing, well-being, and saving lives. But out the back door, they often spread toxins and disease through a waste stream that is conveniently but dangerously burned into ashes by incinerators like Stericycle. The story of North Salt Lake Stericycle facility is typical of what has happened in many communities throughout the country. The facility has been controversial for at least 2 decades. Even back when it was first permitted, there was concern about the health consequences of its emissions. The permit was approved by the Utah Air Quality Board by a 1-vote margin. Legislation at the time prohibited such facilities from being within 1 mile of residence. Around 2003, the County Planning and Zoning Commission received a proposal from the Foxborough developer to subdivide the land north and east of Stericycle into a large residential community. Part of the Commission's decision to grant Foxborough approval was based on a discussion with the Division of Air Quality and the Division of Solid and Hazardous Waste. Both divisions were not forthright with the information to the Commission. They apparently claimed there were no upset conditions. Foxborough proposal was approved and homes were built literally up against the wall of the incinerator property, resulting in families living just feet from the incinerator's smokestacks, with some families literally sharing the backyard fence with Stericycle. The satellite photo showing the black soot and Stericycle roof and its close proximity to homes provokes the gnawing realization of what these families are breathing in. 24/7, Stericycle operates 6 incinerators in the U.S. and is the largest medical waste treatment and disposal company in the country. Waste incinerators are serious public health hazards. Large studies shown here rates of adult and childhood cancers and birth defects among people who lived around incinerators. Those resulting are consistent with the associations being causative. For example, a study of 14 million people followed for 13 years revealed an increase in cancer deaths of 11,000 people among those that lived within 7.5 kilometers of the incinerator. 1 in 2, the cancer doubled for children living within 5 kilometers of an incinerator. 3. The body of medical research is sufficiently robust to have participated in a nationwide citizen movement to have these facilities closed. In fact, during the past 15 years, 98% of the 2,373 medical waste incinerators have closed. Only 33 remain in operation, while thousands of communities have become cleaner as a result. In Utah, things have gotten worse. Sturgill now accepts waste from 8 surrounding states to be incinerated at its North Salt Lake plant. The city is serving as a sacrificial lamb for most of the western United States. In addition to medical waste, including human fluids and tissue, Sturgill is allowed to incinerate animal carcasses more and below. As with most incinerators, the health consequences are not so much the high volume pollutants like particulate matter, ozone, NOx, or SO2, but the amount of the hazardous air pollutants, HAPs, that are designated such by the EPA because of their high level of toxicity. Even at minute concentrations, HAPs include benzene, dioxin, furans, heavy metals, polycycle, aromatic hydrocarbons, and even radioactive elements. Sturgill officially admits a similar volume of HAPs as a full-scale oil refinery or coal-fired power plant, but the emissions are released from a much shorter stack. Therefore, local disposition is greater. Sturgill permit allows it to emit 130 pounds of lead per year, 912 pounds of chlorine, 18 pounds of cadmium, and 60 pounds of mercury. The total amount of HAPs allowed in its permit is 9.51 tons per year. To give you an example of what is coming out of Northwestern's brand new smokestack that we inhaled yesterday, 04-11-14. And again, reporting for JCF Scientific Futures Incorporated. Have a good night.